Unscripted.
You know, now that I think that most of us have had a little bit of time with the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X or the Xbox Series S, whichever one you're getting, or maybe you have multiple, or maybe you have all three, I don't know. For me, I have an Xbox Series X and a PlayStation 5, and I've spent time with both of them, enough time to kind of realize which one's which and which one I'm going to be using the most of this generation. And obviously there's still time for Microsoft to sort of right some of the wrongs that they've done. Clearly their box wasn't ready for launch in terms of the same way that the PlayStation 5 was ready. I mean, obviously winning pretty much all the face-offs, or at least facets of the face-offs, has done amazing things for PlayStation's brand recognition and for what people are wanting to do. I just think that it's really kind of sort of coming down to these companies' reactions as well. You know, again, I feel like these are companies maybe going in opposite directions, where you have a little bit more traditional Sony with PlayStation, and you have Microsoft, who's actually out there trying to feverishly do something, trying to just make money however they can, basically, you know, by any means necessary, because they got the way I look at it is they got bullied right out of the traditional console market last generation, and that's really kind of unfortunate. And I hope they do sort of come back and come back strong, and people trust them and things like that. I don't see how people would trust that company, given the fact that, you know, it's a situation where they clearly just don't seem to really care about the hardcore gamer anymore. You know, they're going after that money that's there for the casual, you know, the people that maybe want to spend money on like a mobile game or something along those lines, or just like casual people that maybe want to drop money on Game Pass or something along those lines. I just don't think that that's really a sustainable situation, but their money isn't really my concern. My concern is, and always has been, the content itself. And with that being said, we got some pretty big PlayStation 5 news today that I'm really looking forward to sharing with you all, and it should be a fun video, so let's get started, shall we? What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. And you know what? If you guys wouldn't mind, a simple like, that's all it takes. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos. A like is free for you and means everything to me, so it would be definitely appreciated, and I'm very thankful for all of you guys and girls out there. So shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, and everybody in between as we get into the holidays. I hope you all are safe and happy and healthy, and you know, spending time with your loved ones and stuff like that. I know it's a uncertain time, and you know, that's why I love video games. I think video games really give us a time and a place to sort of focus our energy and maybe get away from all the negativity for a while. So I think that that's really a lot of what gaming is all about for me personally, and I'm guessing it is for a lot of you as well. So thankfully there's that. And you know, I wanted to just talk about a couple of things real quick. The first thing that I wanted to sort of cover, this isn't the main topic, but it was very interesting because the PlayStation 5 was cited as one of the best inventions of 2020. PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S, not the Xbox Series X, mind you, were launched barely a couple weeks ago, but have already been recognized as the most innovative inventions in the field of entertainment, according to this in Time magazine, to recognize the 100 best inventions of 2020. PS5 combines small advancements to create a revolutionary experience in the field of entertainment. In addition to a custom solid-state drive that loads games almost instantaneously, the accompanying DualSense controller adds a new dimension of play with its new haptic feedback sensors and adaptive triggers. PS5 may be the most powerful video game console ever seen, and it's hence deserving the spot on the list. Xbox Series S, on the other hand, forms the basis of what could become the Netflix of video games, so they really go on to talk about that. Not putting the Xbox Series X in it, though, the flagship console of Microsoft, which actually supports more power than the PS5, at least on paper. It allows players to make use of all the stuff that the S that they talk about, but it's very funny to see that they didn't put the Xbox Series X in there, given that it is actually technically more powerful, and just funny to sort of see that happening, especially given that we've seen the way that some of these games have sort of stacked up between the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S and the PS5. For instance, the Xbox Series S, people were telling me that was a 1440p 60 frames per second machine, and now we've seen resolutions drop into the 500p range multiple times now. So again, I think people were really mistaken, and according to a lot of people in the industry, you know, you had Tom Warren and you had a lot of other people from reputable sites like media and stuff like that. You even had Albert Pinello, who used to work for Microsoft and now works for Amazon, bring up that the frame rates on the Series S would be better than that of the PS5 due to the velocity architecture and all this other nonsense, and it turns out to not be the case whatsoever. So again, you know, what's the point of buying a PlayStation or an Xbox Series X or S at this point if literally everything is performing phenomenally well on the PS5? I just think that one of the things that we have to get used to, is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of fans and gamers, is that the gap in the power difference was never that big to begin with. So a lot of the people that were trying to hype up this huge power difference were just wrong. And despite the fact that they were wrong, you know, we're also at a specific time where you know, just developers are going to make the games as close as possible regardless. Like we saw that with the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro. Despite a literally huge gap there, most games, 99.9% of games, you know, look pretty much the same, play pretty much the same. So what exactly was going to change here when you have an even closer setup? Like that's going to be the thing. So one of the things that we see is the latest face-off, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. PS5 has the edge in 120 frames per second mode compared to Xbox Series X. And I was told that the PS5 wasn't even capable of 120 frames per second, and yet here it is having multiple games. So the amazing wizards of Digital Foundry have put together a Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War through its paces on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and even the Xbox Series S. The results are very interesting. Sony's next-gen console has the edge when it comes to the 120 frames per second mode. It seems that Microsoft has one of the advantages, thankfully, of itself with the Xbox Series X. When running the ray tracing 60 FPS mode, Xbox Series X seems to have an edge in performance, as the PS5 version occasionally dips in frame rate. However, in performance mode, which boosts the frame rate up to 120 frames per second, the PS5 is able to clock in ahead of the Xbox Series X by as much as 10 frames during hectic moments. So you're looking at the 120 frames mode. The Xbox Series X is dropping significantly more than the PlayStation 5 version, and that's something that, you know, a lot of people are going to be talking about. Obviously, I've done several videos about some of the matchups that we've seen between the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and again, we're seeing some incredible things. Is it really the PS5 punching above its weight? Is that the thing that we're seeing? Like, this is sort of something curious for me too, and I don't claim to be some kind of tech wizard or anything like that. I just, like, I'm kind of questioning it too. Like, what's the deal with this? Like, what is the deal with this happening? Why is the PlayStation 5, which was supposedly going to be that much weaker, how is it ending up actually doing better in some of these modes and overall better in a lot of these games completely than the Xbox Series X, which is supposedly that much more powerful? So both versions of the first-person shooter have dynamic resolution in both 4K and performance modes, while the Xbox Series S version does not include ray tracing shadows at all and features less details in the environments. So there you have it. We have another situation where, you know, at least Xbox has some sort of advantage here that we haven't seen before, where they have some sort of a ray tracing advantage. But again, is this the advantage that we expected? I mean, I was pretty certain that a lot of Xbox fans, fanboys, YouTubers, pundits were all saying that, you know, every game would be better. You would have all these extra frame rates based on the GPU power alone. And where is this happening? Are we waiting for tools? Are we talking about tools? We talking about video games, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, the PlayStation 5 tools are going to update too. And we've heard from Digital Foundry, who this is their job, by the way. This isn't some hobby for them. This is their job. And they're talking about, well, there's not going to be some huge magic tool that come in and make the Xbox Series X suddenly have this big advantage over the PlayStation 5. It's not going to happen. Both these consoles are going to get updates. Both these consoles are going to get, you know, better with time for sure. That's just logically going to happen. But at the same time, you know, don't expect the the Xbox Series X to just magically start doing amazingly better, despite the fact that that's what a lot of people would want you to believe. And that's really unfortunate, to say the least. But for me personally, the fact that another game, especially in 120 frame rate mode, is doing that much better on the PlayStation 5, and considering that they're running pretty much almost always equal resolution and stuff like that, you just sort of question a lot of different things, like like what's going on here. Did Microsoft make all these promises with no way to back it up? Like, what in the world is actually going on here? I question it. I know a lot of other people are going to question it as well, but I would like your guys' opinions. I'm going to link both these stories in here, and you can let me know what you think. Like, do you think this is a case where Microsoft was bragging prematurely? Do you really think the Xbox Series X is that much more powerful, and they're just need tools? Or do you think the PlayStation 5 and Mark Cerny just did a great job creating that console, and it's just punching above its weight, and it's just doing phenomenally well because it's well engineered? Let me know. You can hit me up on Twitter, you can hit me up on PSN, you can hit me up on Xbox Live. I respond to everybody. Have a fantastic day. Have a great holiday. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.